Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not, and we are going to talk about Infinity Pool, movie I've had for a while. Um, uh, Movie that I remember seeing the trailers for towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, and I was not impressed, mostly because of X and Pearl. They decided that most of the trailers that they showed on TV were just going to be the scenes featuring Mia Goth. And if you know me, you know that I am probably the only one in this entire world that is not impressed by her. I feel like she does too much. She's like the female Will Ferrell, but not with comedy. I think she goes a little too up and over. I thought her performance in X was fine, and then they just went full into her in Pearl, and I didn't particularly care for it. And we're going to talk about her performance in this film later, but I think it's better than she was in Pearl, but at least until we get to the end, towards the end of the film. This also stars Alexander Skarsgård and is directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who also gave us Possessor back in 2021 or 2020, whatever it was. I don't know. And I enjoyed this film for what it was. I thought it was a weird movie. This is also kind of weird, which with the name like Cronenberg, you're kind of expecting that. So yeah, and what the story is, what this film is about, is this couple have gone to this foreign country for a vacation. They meet this other couple, and some weird, and then during one night, they asked our main character, played by Alexander Skarsgård, our main character James, he accidentally hits a local. And the new couple, Mia Goth's character, is like, no, don't say anything. The law is very weird in this country. Well, you're screwed. You'll be dead. Let's just go. And then the next morning, they're arrested and have this weird tradition where if someone is killed, then their firstborn child or oldest child can kill you. But if you're rich, which his wife is, you can pay for them to clone you and they will kill the clone. Now, an idea like this could work. They even kind of hint at some point with the conversation later in the film where they're like, well, how do you know that they killed the clone? They could have killed the real you and you could be the clone and you never knew it. And I feel like they should have went more into that. I was like, oh, is that going to be like the whole physiological thing? Is that going to be the whole thing? But no, that kind of just gets wiped underneath. Like there's a couple things like, oh, you feel different after going through it, or or that whole conversation they have. But other than that, there's really nothing to it. It just gets weird after this, and I don't know. At some point during this film, I just sort of dropped off from it. I was into it, and then I was just like, okay, when is this gonna end? This movie's not that long. It's 118 minutes. 118 minutes. So that's almost 2 hours. So it's not that bad. But at some point, I just went, why? Like, there's a point in the film towards the end where I just went, why is this still going? And the ending of the film itself really just made me go, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not like the character died or anything, but it just, one, it doesn't make sense of what we've already been shown, but I don't know. So yeah, this whole idea of the clone thing, it's a decent idea. Clone yourself. But I feel like they should have leaned more into the whole, well, was that really a clone or was that you? And then they keep getting cloned, and you're lost as to who's the real one and who's not. In fact, there is a brilliantly done scene after this group of people he's hanging out with they attack and they kill people. There's like a shootout and everything. People die. They get arrested, and it looks like that they fucked up and they're about to die. Like they're all screwed. They're gonna die. There's no one coming to save them, and they're gonna die. And then, surprise! They're actually clones, and the real ones are sitting there, or are they? Because this is, again, this is portrayed as if they were the real ones, and then they're all freaking out, and even like there's a couple of things like I don't know, this version of him, James, starts to fight back, whereas the other version was just yelling for his wife, and I wonder, like, if this is not really him and the clones, maybe the clones, who knows how many times that Mia Goth and her husband have been cloned, and maybe the more you get cloned, the more you lose your sanity. I don't know, because it's after this that he completely gone, and it's just working with these people now, and it's just lost it, and then towards the end. And even, I thought about this now, with the ending of this film where he stays behind, the rest of them don't go. I don't know. Maybe it's he's come to the realization that he's not who he was before. But maybe because he is actually a clone, and they've been cloned so much that they've kind of lost that whole, are they really who they are or whatever. But he is still trying to figure that out, and so that's why he stays, because he doesn't believe he should go. I don't know. I mean, he ends up staying. It's very weird. And Mia Goth. Okay, for most of this film, I think she's actually pretty good until a certain scene towards the end where she decided she was gonna channel her inner Pearl and just start yelling in that very shrill, high-pitched voice that she has that does not work. Like, her voice is like she has a very high-pitched voice. It's a very, high voice. And when you start yelling in a high voice like that, it hurts the ears. And so when she just starts yelling, I'm going, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. Come on, little baby. No. I had to mute the TV. No. And what's more is this whole scene just to me. Okay, so earlier on in the film, James starts to enjoy himself. So at one point, he says that he's lost his passport and he needs to find it. Now, if you're at home, you're supposed to, the person watching this, you're supposed to think, oh, the couple stole his passport. And even at one point, like, it's very obvious that they're doing this to harass him. But it's revealed in the third act that he actually hid his passport. And so he's done. He's had enough. Because at one point they claim that the passport thing was on this guy, this cop that arrested him. So they take the guy from having some kind of surgery or something, and he just beats the hell out of him until it's revealed it's another clone that they had made to mess with him. And I'm assuming they made two clones, because later, towards the end of this film, there is another clone. But it's not the same clone, because this clone had a bunch of marks on his face. But the other clone that we see now at the end doesn't. So I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, to this point that he gets out and like, okay, this is where it's going to end. He's going to leave. He's going to go back to his wife. It's all over. Don't talk about it. No, because... And I feel like this is one of those things where it should have ended here, but no, we have more of this, because Mia Goth and her friends, peoples, show up and stop the bus from moving and hold it up at gunpoint, basically, to get him out of there, and then he tries to get away and gets shot in the leg. And we get this weird thing, like there's some weird stuff, like earlier in the film there's a weird thing where she gets some kind of drug, and they have some orgy thing, an orgy. And then here, even though I don't think he's on any drugs, maybe from the pain he's hallucinating, I don't know. But he runs and he finds this farm, and it's revealed to be the kid who killed his clone earlier, and then he tries to strangle him. Like, the kid tries to strangle him, but he peels his face off, and it's his wife, and he peels the face all the way off, and then he wakes up and there's no one there. So I had no idea what just happened. This makes no sense because he wasn't on anything. I don't understand why he's seeing this. Why this? I don't know. It's really weird. And then he goes out to find that everyone is just there. Like, how did they find him? Is that the only place? Maybe, I don't know. And then they bring the other version. They call the dog, the other version of him. Again, it's gotta be a different clone because I didn't see any marks on his face, but I don't know. Then they have this fight between the two of them, like, you're fighting yourself. I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind? I don't know. And it just, then he sucks on her titty, and then it wakes up the next morning. He tells his wife he's coming home. Everyone's acting normal now, and then that's when he decides he can't leave. Like, he goes back to the resort, which, again, shouldn't be possible because they say once you leave, you can't come back. So, like, you're not supposed to leave the compound or whatever. But he goes back to the resort even though it's closed. How did he get in? He's sitting there in a rain. This idea of, well, he's now not ready to leave. He can't leave. He's different than he was. He's not the same. It's one thing. But when you really start to put common sense into it, how was he able to get back into the resort? To me, they should have shown him sit outside the gate or something. I don't know. Just, Valentine's purpose is he's dead in more than one way. Because he stays in that monsoon, he could get thrown around, killed, and I don't know. He just sits there in the rain. It's kind of stupid. But yeah, overall, I thought this movie was okay. I'm gonna give it a middle of the road. I wouldn't say it's not worth your time. Check it out if you have to. I don't know. I think I liked Possessor better than this, and I was surprised until the end that Mia Goth was kind of good in this. Like, she's actually doing a good job. And then they decided, oh, we gotta have her go wacky at the end of this, and an unnecessary scene to begin with, because it should have ended with him leaving, because that was the whole thing. That his wife leaves, and then he stays behind, but then he should have just left. And it's one of those things, because the whole thing is that everybody, in that group, does all the weird stuff, and then goes home back to normal lives. So, because now he's gonna fucked himself over because he didn't go back. He's not gonna go back to that life. He's lost all his money because he's a writer who married into money, but now he doesn't have that anymore. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna stay there? Well, he can't. He's gonna lose his money train there. He's gonna lose his money payments. He's not gonna be able to, if he fucks up now, he's dead. There's no way he's going to be able to pay for that. So, I don't know. It's very weird to me. But, I sneeze. Number arm me. Sneeze. My chest hurts. My arm hurts. Whew. Anyway, yeah. It's the middle of the road. I don't know if I'll be watching it. If you like Possessor, I think Possessor was another middle of the road. I think I liked it better than this, but I'm trying to catch up on the 2023 movies. I'm really behind, and I've kind of slowed on my uploads. I know, stuff's going on. Yesterday I was actually going to be doing some reviews, but then things got changed around, and then today I only worked for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half today, and that's not a bad thing by any means. My supervisor had somewhere to go. He was supposed to have his day off. He had to go out of town, and so we had to get everything done. Like, I walked back into my apartment at like 6:20 this morning. About that. So I watched the newest episode of iCarly, and let me just say this here: the newest episode of iCarly at least from what I'm recording this review, was their high school reunion. Man, they had to get back characters like Rip Off Rodney or two of the friends in Freddy's Train Club. And Shane from the one episode where he fell down the elevator shaft. By the way, Spencer has like 11 kids from sperm donations. Yeah. I don't know. It was a weird episode. But then I watched this, and this is even weirder. But, yeah, so what are your thoughts on Infinity Pool? Make comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.